I'm SteppingStones member Lori Chase, and I'm interviewing Leann Downing this morning. Good morning, Leann.
Morning, Lori.
Hi. Want to start by tell me briefly about your life before your brain injury?
My life before the brain injury. Well, I had my brain injury. I lived in New York State. I had a really good job. I actually, I was on my lunch hour at the time. Had a car accident. Was on my lunch hour on my way back to work after lunch hour, and it was raining that day. My car hydroplaned into a ledge, a rock ledge on the other side of the road, and that stopped me real quick. And an oncoming car hit me on the passenger side, and that was it for me for a while. But I was pretty much engaged. My life was great. I don't know what else to say.
Do you want to talk about your social life or your family life?
Well, my family lived up here in Rye, New Hampshire. They had moved up here to Rye, New Hampshire in 1976. I stayed in New York State. Had my car accident in, geez, how the heck old was I? '87, I think. I don't know, I can't remember, somewhere around
That's
there.
fine. Now, as a result of your accident, were you in a coma or anything?
Yes, I was in a coma, but not as long as most people, really. Probably like 6 weeks or something, I think. Now, a lot of people might say, well, geez, that's still a coma, but I, and probably you too, know a lot of people, especially here at SteppingStones, that have been in comas a lot longer.
That's still a long time.
Was it?
Yeah, that's still long, I think.
Yeah, but we know a lot of people that have been in comas 6 months.
Now, could you tell me what the extent of your rehabilitation was, Leann?
I was in 2 hospitals in New York State. My parents had me brought up here to Boston, Massachusetts, to a brain rehabilitation hospital in Boston, where I received intensive brain rehabilitation. They taught me how to do everything again. You know the whole story, how to
walk again, and then how to take care of yourself, and do your
talk, feed myself,
activities of daily living.
Everything, yes.
And how long do you think that took you?
I was in that hospital for nine months, and they released me, and I moved in with my parents into Rye, which is about a half mile from here. They were already involved in New Hampshire brain injury things, and I immediately started going to the Hampton monthly meetings. As soon as Dave Krempels thought about opening someplace like SteppingStones, I got involved in SteppingStones from day one.
Well, that's great.
Yes. Yes, I was totally interested in this right off the bat.
Now, how has your life been affected since your brain injury, starting with your family life?
Well, my fiance stayed with me a little bit. Actually, he was a carpenter. He did a few jobs for my parents. As soon as I moved in with my parents and was out of intensive rehab, had learned how to walk, talk, get back on my feet a little bit, he left me.
Oh, that must have been hard.
He went back to New York State and got married to somebody else. That was not easy for me.
How long have you two been together?
We'd been together probably only about 3 years, but that's still
That's still significant.
a good chunk, yeah. But live and learn.
Well, as it turned out, things are still looking up for you now. It didn't hurt your life any that he left. It did it.
No.
It did at the time, but
Live and learn. Could have been worse. It could have been worse. But my family life actually, with my parents, improved 100%. My father and I had split up when they moved up here. My father and I, our two lives had just, I mean, dads and little girls, it was like, that was gone. But Dad and I got back together, and that was good.
that's great.
Yeah, it was. I tried to get reemployed back up here. Went through job after job after job after job. I went through so many jobs that it's incredible. Folk Rehab tried to get me a job. Worked with them, that didn't work. One of the jobs I had, I met the man I'm married to now. This guy gives me the most support. He helped me to get with Social Security, the disability benefits, everything.
That's great.
So, regardless of the fact that I couldn't hold a job, at least now I'm getting compensated for the fact that I can't work. But even though I can't work, coming here to SteppingStones really helped a lot. When I first started coming here, they let me do receptionist. Now, that's not a job that I ever had before I was hurt or anything. That's actually a job I used to teach people. But at least I knew how it had to be done, so I could do it. And I guess I did it.
You did a great job at that. I used to love coming in here in the morning and see your smiling face greeting all of us when we walked through the door.
Well, I guess it kind of helped me in that I could do it. You know, I went through all those jobs, and I obviously couldn't do them. And it took a while to sink into my, what was there of a brain, that I couldn't do that. But it just felt good to come here and do what I could do.
Now, how has your belief system changed since your injury?
I'm sorry, how did my
belief system? You know, do you believe in God? Religious affiliations or anything like that?
You know, when I was at the brain rehab hospital in Boston, a friend of a roommate there, and I got close. She was friendly, and I needed a friend. She gave me a Bible, and I read that thing from cover to cover again. I'd already read the Bible, but I read it again. And I've never been really overly religious, and I'm still not, but it made me, it just re-sparked my belief in God. Mm-hmm. It just made me believe a little bit stronger. Mm-hmm. I'm still not a really good person, but...
Well, did it make you believe that you're still here for a reason? There must be something that you need to do.
No, not so much as just to be a nice person.
I think you do find it that, Leann.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
You must be the second person to think that. Because I'm sure my husband thinks that.
Can you tell me what's the biggest thing that has changed since your injury?
That noise startled me. That's kind of a hard question.
Well, you could talk about not being employed now.
I really hate not being employed. You know, back when I worked, I was always one of those people that said, boy, I'd love not to have to work. And now I'm one of those people that always says, boy, I'd love to be able to work. I would give anything to be able to go to work somewhere right now. Mm-hmm. And that's the darn thing I hate about Social Security disability. Old age Social Security, you can go out, you can work as much as you want, and it's not a problem. But disability, they don't let you do that. And that really bugs the you-know-what out of me.
Do you have memory issues? Memory issues?
Yeah, yeah. And, memory, and a lot of times things are real foggy. Like as far as the memory, I might have to do something 2, 3, maybe 4 times before I can really remember it. Mm-hmm. For instance, drive to a certain place like memorize like a little map for myself, how to get to a certain store or whatever. You know, when most people could just...
What have been your biggest communication challenges? Have you had problems interacting with people? Do you find it easy or difficult?
I do have aphasia sometimes. I find that sometimes I'll be talking and I'll just lose the word. As I've been talking with you, sometimes I've done that. I'm talking right along, and then sometimes I'll just, the word's not there. That happens quite a bit. I've been meaning to talk to Dave Halloran, go to one of those aphasia groups.
Yeah, I'm sure he can help you out.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, I have one of his, I talked to him and got one of those aphasia cards, and that has the information right on it to get a hold of him. So I want to get a hold of him and go to one of those groups.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Will has the information also on when those groups are.
They have one here.
Yes.
Actually, they have two. They have one in the evening. They usually have one during the day, too.
Yeah, I'd like to go to that day group. I don't like driving at night.
Oh, I don't blame you. How does it make you feel when you communicate? Do you feel happy or sad or stressed?
None really. It's just a it's just a form of communication. Depends on what the conversation is about. This conversation, I feel good. It's nice to kind of, it's always nice to talk to somebody that is smiling at you. It's nice to talk to somebody that, I'd rather talk to somebody that's looking in my eyes and smiling at me than I am to just, I don't like talking to somebody that's
doesn't look like they're paying attention to you.
Exactly. I mean, that, you know.
Now, at this point in your life, Leann, what are some of the goals that you have for yourself?
Well, like I am, my mouth doesn't want to work today. Being married, my husband's older than I am, we want to get a house. Gotta get a house. This apartment stuff is just about enough. I want to start working again, is what I want to do, but that's...
What about a family? You want to start your own family too?
I think we're both a little bit past that.
Okay.
Age-wise. I've thought a lot about, but that's just it, I've thought a lot about going back to school. I haven't really, excuse me, I'm sorry, haven't really actually checked into college curriculums or how to go about it financially, although I'm sure there's got to be ways.
I'm sure there are out there, but you'll be able to find a way to do it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of you've got to be ready to take on the challenge.
Yeah, that's just it. I don't know if I am. But to achieve the goals, I think I'm just going to have to face up to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, good luck, Leann.
Thanks. I think I'll need it.
Now, how has SteppingStones influenced your life?
Well, just in the simple fact with the letting me pretend to be or think I was, or let me be the receptionist for a while. Kind of let me raise my own opinion of myself enough, I think, that
You mean it gave you confidence?
yes, thank you. You're good at words.
Did you also feel like you were needed here?
Yes, and sometimes I think that's what the big thing about a job is, the feeling of being needed.
I think you're right. And you lose that when you're not employed anymore.
Yes, you do.
Well, thank you very much, Leann. I appreciate talking with you.
Thank you, Lori.